Good morning, everyone. Welcome. So the first thing that we do whenever we sit down to meditate is establish our compassionate intention. So let's just start by centering ourselves here in the present, on our cushions, present in our heart. Bring our attention to all sentient beings who have once been our kind mothers and cared for us and sacrificed for us. And with gratitude, we wish to repay their kindness and free all sentient beings from suffering. So just take a moment to give rise to compassion for all sentient beings. And then we'll say the opening prayers. Does everyone have a copy of the opening prayers? Okay, great. All right, so we'll say the 7-line prayer 3 times. Om Organ Yogi Num Jansam Pemage Sardombola Yatsen Chogi Ngodrupne Pemajong Ne Jesudrak Kordu Kondro Mangpo Kor Ketki Jesu Dak Drupki Jinji Lop Chir Sheksu So Guru Pema City Home Organ Yogi Num Jansam Pemage Sardombola Yatsen Chogi Ngodrupne Pemajong Ne Jesudrak Kordu Kondro Mangpo Kor Ketki Jesu Dak Drupki Jinji Lop Chir Sheksu So Guru Pema City Home Organ Yogi Num Jansam Pemage Sardombola Yatsen Chogi Ngodrupne Pemajong Ne Jesudrak Kordu Kondro Mangpo Kor Ketki Jesu Dak Drupki Jinji Lop Chir Sheksu So Guru Pema City Home. So in today's class, we'll be practicing 3 different kinds of meditation. The first meditation that we do is called Shamatha, or calm abiding meditation. And this is a traditional Buddhist meditation practiced in all traditions of Buddhism. And it's foundational to all of our practices and can be practiced by anyone of any religion, because all we're doing is we're just focusing our attention on one object. We're just allowing our mind to rest. Usually our minds are just jumping around and flitting around all the time, just like constantly responding to sensory input and our emotional experience. And we're just kind of tossed about on these waves of emotions and responding to everything that we see and hear and our conversations that we have. And we're just reacting usually. And it's really restful for the mind to just, for whatever period of time we can manage it, to just allow the mind to rest in one spot instead of looking at this, looking at that, talking about that. What did I do yesterday? What should I do tomorrow? Da 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 da. Like just rest on one thing. Just focus. And we can see how healing it is for a mind to focus the mind, even with doing just, into a smaller capacity, stuff like I noticed the difference between reading a book versus scrolling on social media. The constant scroll and the look, oh, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at that, I'm looking at something different. Here's a picture of a cat. Here's something terrible happening in the world. Here's another dog, whatever. And then versus like focusing on a book and one story and kind of that sustained attention, even just that, you can see the difference it makes in your mind and how your mind is different even for the rest of the day of like, are you more stable or are you more frazzled? So when we meditate, we get even more of that focused attention. And we can use anything really as the object of meditation. You can do this focusing your attention on a picture of the Buddha or a flower or a candle, or even just like if you're standing in line in the grocery store, you could rest your attention on like one of the magazines in the checkout line. You're waiting in line and you could just take a few seconds and just rest your attention there. Stop thinking about everything else. Just rest your attention there for a few seconds and just give yourself a little break of peace, a little moment of peace instead of the usual noise. But today, our object of meditation will be our breath. And our breath is such a wonderful object that we can use because we always have it with us. So we never have to worry about not having our meditation stuff with us because we always have our breath. So we have what we need to practice anytime, anywhere. So I'm just, I forgot, I got a new bell for this class. So let me just grab it. Because the apps are just really, I can't find a good one that makes a good noise. I need a little chime. Okay. So take a comfortable seat. You can do this meditation sitting in a chair or sitting cross-legged on the ground. And just place your hands in your lap, gently relaxed. Traditionally, we hold one hand in the other with the thumbs touching and place the hands so that the thumbs are just below your belly button, or you can just rest your hands on your thighs. And then check in with your posture. Your spine is straight, like a stack of coins. Not tensing, really, to hold yourself straight. It's more like allowing the architecture of your spine to hold yourself nice and tall in a relaxed way. Your muscles are relaxed. And your elbows can be out a little bit away from your body so that you have room to breathe. Your rib cage has a lot of room around it to breathe. We're not collapsing in on ourselves. And your eyes remain open, looking downwards. You can imagine a line following the bridge of your nose, extending down to the floor. And just find a point along that line where it's comfortable to rest your gaze. And then place the tip of your tongue right behind your front teeth. It's like saying the letter L. Allow yourself to relax completely. Breathe normally. Just settle into your natural rhythm of breathing. If you're feeling tense, like sometimes when we put our attention on the breath, suddenly it's like we've never breathed before. So if you feel tense, you can just do a big out breath and let out all your air. And that kind of resets your ability to breathe deeply. And then put a very light attention on your breath. Don't try to control it at all. Just breathe naturally with the most gossamer thin attention on your breath. It's like taking your pulse. You don't put any pressure on it, just observe it. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. As you meditate, thoughts will come up, and that's okay. It's totally normal. When thoughts come up, just let them go like bubbles popping on the surface of a pond. Don't even look to see what they are. Just let them pop. Your meditation is not lost by hearing your thoughts, but by following them down the road. So as soon as you notice yourself following a thought, just drop it and return to your breath. Drop the thought, return to your breath. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. That's our warm-up round. We're going to try that again for a little bit longer. But right now, if you need to adjust anything about how you're sitting, you can do that, and then we'll sit for a little bit longer. And one thing is when we're sitting, however you're sitting, you want to make sure that you feel like you have a stable base. So like you might find that when you cross your legs, you might have a tendency to pull your legs in really close or something and then feel like you don't have a stable base, so there's different ways. Or if you're sitting in a chair, you want to make sure your feet are on the ground. So just make sure that you're feeling stable in your seat and sit up straight spine, relaxed body. Returning our attention to the breath. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. Okay. So that meditation is such a simple but profound practice. Not only is it restful for the mind, but it creates space in the mind. Resting the mind like that, it creates space in the mind, which helps us to balance our emotions. And so often we try to like work with our emotions and we try to fight them, or we try to make don't I shouldn't feel like this. I want to whatever. You try to wrestle with your emotions one way or another. And I don't know if you've ever had like a necklace get really tangled, but it's like impossible to pull apart when you're pulling at the chains because it's just so tightly wound. But if you can get some space in there, if you can loosen it up, it almost untangles by itself, you know? So if we just have some spaciousness in our minds, it's amazing how much our emotional entanglements just loosen, and it becomes so much easier to work with our emotions when we have some space around them. Um, and that spaciousness is also the first step in the development of bodhicitta, that compassionate wish to free all sentient beings from suffering, which is the focus of our next meditation, Tonglen. So the Shamatha meditation creates this spaciousness that makes room for bodhicitta. And then with Tonglen, we're really developing our bodhicitta. So this Tonglen meditation, in the Tonglen meditation, we imagine taking the sufferings of others into ourselves and sending them our happiness. And this practice develops our loving kindness and compassion. It helps us to overcome self-cherishing, and helps us develop the ability to put others' well-being before our own, and to love all beings with equanimity, loving our friends and enemies alike. So we'll start in our meditation posture and begin by imagining one or two beings for whom you easily feel compassion. So uh, this could be someone you know. It could be maybe you have a family member who's sick, or a friend going through a divorce, or someone, you saw a starving child on the news or something like that. If there's someone in particular who's suffering particularly touches you, or it could be like your child or your parents, your dog or cat, anyone, it's easy, really easy to feel compassion for. Contemplate their suffering. Put yourself in their shoes and imagine what their experience must be like, and give rise to compassion. And cultivate in your heart a strong wish to relieve their suffering and secure their happiness. And then bring your attention to your breath. And following the natural rhythm of your breath, as you breathe in, Visualize that as you inhale through your nose, you take in all of the causes and conditions of their suffering in the form of black smoke. And imagine that they become completely free of misery. As you breathe out, visualize that you are sending and they are receiving all of your positive and loving qualities and all conceivable sources of enduring happiness as radiant pure light, bringing them limitless joy. You might think as you breathe in, may you be free of suffering. And as you breathe out, may you be happy. Now we're going to repeat this. But this time, visualize one or two people for whom you feel intense anger or aversion. So think of someone that you don't like, or someone you're in conflict with, or someone you hate. Think of that person and contemplate their misery. Put yourself in their shoes. Think about what their experience must be like and give rise to compassion. Cultivate in your heart the strong wish to relieve their suffering and secure their happiness. And then bring your attention to your breath, following the natural rhythm of your breath. As you breathe in, visualize that as you inhale through your nose, you take in all of their suffering and the karmic causes and conditions of their suffering in the form of black smoke, and they become completely free of misery. As you breathe out, visualize that you are sending and they are receiving all of your positive and loving qualities and all conceivable sources of enduring happiness as radiant, pure light, bringing them limitless joy. You can even imagine them being so happy they can't help but sing and dance in their happiness. You might think as you breathe in, may you be free of suffering, and as you breathe out, may you be happy. And then now expand your visualization to include all those for whom you have similar feelings of anger and aversion. And imagining all of those beings you have anger towards. As you breathe in, visualize as you inhale through your nose, taking in all of the causes and conditions of their suffering in the form of black smoke, and they are free of misery. And as you breathe out, visualizing sending and they are receiving all of your positive, loving qualities and all conceivable sources of enduring happiness as radiant, pure light, bringing them limitless joy. Now we're going to expand our visualization one more time to include all sentient beings throughout existence, all humans, all animals, all of the beings of the six realms. Imagine them before you. And as you breathe in, visualize that as you inhale through your nose, you take in all of the causes and conditions of their suffering in the form of black smoke, and they become completely free of misery. And breathing out, sending, and they are receiving all of your positive and loving qualities, all conceivable sources of enduring happiness as radiant pure light, bringing them limitless joy. So this Tonglen practice is one you can do anytime. You can do it in this kind of formal way, sitting on your cushion. You can also just, if you're in your daily life, sometimes you just see someone who's suffering and you can just do this for them. You can just visualize inhaling their suffering, sending them happiness. You can just do it as simple as that anytime. You pass someone, maybe pass a homeless person on the street, or you see someone get hurt, and you can just, take it in, send them light, send them your happiness. And always remember to dedicate the merit to all beings. But it's really helpful, even just doing that little bit, just anytime we see suffering, it trains us to not turn away from suffering. It's so easy to turn away from suffering and go, oh, I can't do anything about that, but there's so much we can't do anything about. And so it's really easy to go like, well, like, why think about it, and doing this practice trains us to be present with the suffering of others and with our own suffering. And that is really powerful. And very needed in this world. It's the only way that we can heal something is when we bring our attention to it, right? So we just get in the habit of bringing our attention to suffering and bringing our loving attention to suffering, and then we can help heal it in ourselves and others. So our last meditation is the light expansion meditation, which was written by Jetsunma. And This meditation helps us to overcome the illusion of separation that causes us, that is the root cause of all of the trauma and grief and suffering that we experience. So it comes from the belief that we are separate. And so this meditation helps us to overcome that false belief and come to know our true radiant nature and our true oneness with all life. So in our meditation posture, let us become still. Take a deep breath and let it out slowly. Again. Let us center deep within. Center deep within. Deep within to the presence of the Absolute. And there is radiance. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the physical body, and all of the physical body is filled with the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and all that we are is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill everyone here. All the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this building, And all of this building is filled with the light of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this nation. And the government of this nation is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. And the people of this nation are one life. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace planet Earth. All nations and all governments are filled with the presence of the Absolute, and there is peace. And the 8 billion are one life, radiant. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill this galaxy. All planets, all stars, and all life forms are within the embrace of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the universe. All dimensions and all kingdoms are filled with the presence of the Absolute. And in all the universe, there is only one life. Now, as we return our consciousness back to physical form, we continue to embrace all that is and to know union, that we are one. Right, so then at the end of our class, we do our dedication prayers, which are on the flip side of the handout. And we're going to say these in English. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I've accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice, and all that I will ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and every future life. May I clearly perceive all experiences to be as insubstantial as the dream fabric of the night, and instantly awaken to perceive the pure wisdom display in the arising of every phenomenon. May I quickly attain enlightenment in order to work ceaselessly for the liberation of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas altogether, whatever kind of motivation you have, whatever kind of beneficial action, whatever kind of wishing prayers, whatever kind of omniscience, whatever kind of life accomplishment, whatever kind of benevolent power, and whatever kind of immense wisdom you have. Similarly, I, who have come in the same way to benefit beings, pray to attain these qualities. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms. Well, thank you so much for being here, everyone. We have in just a couple minutes, we will be doing the Ryo Samchud practice. You're welcome to stay for that. The Ryo Samchud is about a 20-minute smoke offering practice, and it is a really beautiful practice to clear obstacles and purify the environment and bring blessings. So you're welcome to stay for that. We also have volunteer activity happening today, which I think I have a text message telling me to tell you about this. So if anyone would like to help clean the koi ponds, that is happening today, and it's kind of depends on how many people show up for how long it takes, and any amount of time you want to come for 5 minutes or 5 hours, whatever you want to do. There is plenty of work, and there's 2 pairs of overalls that people are welcome to use. It's kind of messy work. But there's a couple pairs of overalls available if you're interested. So if you're interested, you could just go to the koi ponds and Jacob will direct you. And then tomorrow, our Sunday class is canceled, and we are having a Vajrakalaya retreat instead. So right now, Jetsunma has called for urgently for a series of pujas, of powerful practices to be done to avert war and sustain peace in the world. So with everything that's happening in the Middle East and the possibility for the conflict to expand, we are doing prayers to avert war and to just for peace in the world. So you're welcome to join us for that. We'll be doing Vajrakalaya practices all day starting at 9:30. And there's 4 sessions spanning from 9:30 to 6 p.m. So you can see the full schedule on our website or ask me after class and I can pull it up. Yeah, you're welcome to come for that. And I think that's it. I think that's all the announcements that I have. So thank you so much for being here today. Yeah.